The first question we ask is why. Why is the most frequent word children use when asking about the world. Research on the subject reveals that the word why emerges from child's inherent desire for justification or understanding of what is observed and demanding to know the reason. Seeking reason and making sense of reality is an inherent tendency. Domains of reasoning. In logic, deduction is establishing a certain conclusion, induction is exploring possible outcomes, psychology is studying the effect of past mental events on future behavior, and law is examining a motivation for a crime or a justification of individuals' behavior in civil matters. Reasonable and unreasonable behavior. Reasonable behavior is strongly associated with the capacity to envision the consequences of one's causes of actions. Ask anyone from the prison population whether they would have changed their past causes of actions, which led to their imprisonment. The law is strict and uncompromising about cases of unreasonable actions. Usually, it is short-sightedness and emotionalism that affect the process of correct reasoning in daily encounters. Predicting the consequences. Reasoning has the capacity for shedding light on the unknown future, revealing various possibilities. Predicting future emotions is a process referred to as affective forecasting, is therefore central to the way we evaluate and choose among alternatives. The mental function of future prediction. Science suggests that deciding about the future is affected by a variety of factors, such as past memory and the individual's clarity of thinking. Predicting our future feelings is a most valuable process in which various sections of the brain are involved. Neuroscience research suggests that memory is not just about recalling the past, but also about predicting the future. The brain uses past experiences and current information to construct models that anticipate what will happen next. This predictive function is crucial for efficient movement through environments, survival, and goal-directed behavior. Objections. The idea that we can form reasonable scenarios of future events clashes with two objecting trends of thoughts: skepticism and beliefs in fate. At odds with science, philosophy harbours many views of doubts and skepticism. Some philosophical views even deny the possibility of prediction of simple physical phenomena, let alone the vastly complicated prediction of feelings or behaviour. The proof of correct reasoning. One of the most outstanding achievements of science was Einstein's prediction of the deviation of planet Mercury's trajectory around the Sun, calculating the shift in orbit well before it took place. Einstein's theory of general relativity predicts exactly the amount of perihelion advance seen in Mercury. Note that Einstein's theory is highly mathematical, a product of pure reasoning. Reason can be proven correct if it produces such a prediction that observation in the physical world confirms its validity. Reality is the ultimate judge of the quality of one's reasoning, whether in the field of science or social behavior. The capacity of reason for predicting future events. In contrast to the thousands of philosophy articles arguing about two small billiard balls on a flat table, let's consider the example of two bigger masses approaching each other, a satellite and an asteroid. In 2011, a Japanese team successfully sent spacecraft Hayabusa in a 7-year journey to land on asteroid Ryugu in 2018, which is distant from Earth by 290 million kilometers and which was spinning at great speed. The spacecraft landed exactly as predicted, with extreme precision, collecting samples from the surface of the asteroid. Skeptics' unreasonable assumption. Science is based on the principle of uniformity of nature, which implies that the laws of reality are objective, not conditioned by our calendar. According to science and Einstein, the distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. According to skeptics, David Hume's philosophical problem of induction argues that we cannot logically prove the future will resemble the past. Even though the sun has risen every day, we cannot be certain it will rise tomorrow, as our belief relies on an unproven assumption that past patterns will continue. But dividing time into 3 phases is a man-made concept. To use anthropo-based or man-made concept of time in an argument about non-man-made natural laws assumes that the working of nature is conditioned by our timescale. This assumption is not logically justified, hence it is unreasonable. Why a cause can lead to different effects? The whole objection to the uniformity was based on Hume's following statement. It is possible to clearly and distinctly conceive of a situation where the unobserved case does not follow the regularity so far observed. True, but why? Isn't the role of philosophy to inquire about the reason for this chaos? Why would nature sometimes follow regularity, but at other cases does not? For example, seeds of plants successfully produce saplings one year, but fail another. Farmers explain that the effect depends not only on the cause, but also on conditions of soil and moisture. The initial conditions of any system are involved in any process of its change. Science explains that the law of cause and condition lead to effect. The law of cause and condition lead to effect applies to physical events and psychological relationships. Even in relatively simple events, finding the true cause of an event becomes difficult. Confusion occurs between the real cause of the event, on one hand, and conditions necessary but not sufficient for the effect to take place. Japanese educator Yosei Toda suggested the following example. A problem, no matter what kind, is an effect produced by a combination of inherent causes and external conditions. Here is a glass of water. Let's suppose that there are some sediments at the bottom of the glass. If you stir the contents, the water will become murky in effect. In this case, the sediment is the inherent cause and the act of stirring is the external condition. In disputes among people, one side in a dispute may blame the other side of being the cause of a problem. For example, one accuses another that the act of stirring the situation was the cause of developing the effect of a tense state, like creating the state of murky water. But the cause of the tense situation was dormant within the affected person, and the stirring only offered a condition to bring it up. The law of cause and condition lead to effect. Hume failed to see the role of initial conditions of a system subjected to change. Today, a secondary school student can explain the example Hume depended on. Elementary physics teaches that the effect of ball movement is fully predictable, and that it depends not only on the cause of impact, but on the initial conditions, being applying the same force and hitting at the same angle. Another example, applying heat to water, cause, results in boiling at 100 degrees, effect, at sea level, condition. At top of mountain, the effect of boiling is different. It occurs at less degrees because of the different condition of air pressure. Yes, nature can change its course, but changes can be predictable. Climate change is an example of how misusing resources, deforestation, etc., cause, persistently over time, condition, accumulated in global warming, effect. Nature can change its course, but the changes are not random. Our ignorance of the law of cause and effect can lead to disastrous consequences. Thus, avoiding bad consequences is possible through understanding the law of how nature and all phenomena operate. In the material field of physics, predictability approaches certainty. In the psychological or social field of patterns, predictability becomes a measure of probability. Skepticism's dangerous implications. If the human mind is incapable of predicting future course of even simple physical events, how can we predict the future effects of the impact of our personal causes of actions in the highly complicated field of human relations and feeling? Skepticism contradicts the essence of philosophy. Philosophy is about wisdom, and wisdom allows for predicting the impact and effect of our causes of actions to avoid problematic consequences. The only certainty offered by skepticism is our ignorance about the future. And if it is beyond the capacity of reasoning to predict the future, then humanity is condemned to ignorance. Reason is a mental power aimed at making correct causes of actions leading to beneficial effects for self and others. A firm philosophical background of the bond between causes, conditions, and effects is indispensable for giving reason its factual capacity and role in making life better.